Well, Leo Ataku, a public affairs analyst, joins us on News Now via Skype from Edo State to discuss more on this controversial Ibori loot. Mr. Ataku, thank you very much for joining us on News Now. Now, what's your position on this money? Do you think it should be returned to Delta State, or as the federal government has announced, it should be put to good use in the interests of the entire country?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the money should be returned to Delta State. It is immoral on the part of the federal government to facilitate the recovery of this looted asset and then confiscate the money. For me, it amounts to, almost relooting the recovered loot.
But are you not worried, as some experts have raised concerns? I'm sorry to cut you here, Mr. Ataku. I said, are you not worried, as some experts have said, that if returned to Delta State, the money may be relooted, or maybe not accounted for?
That is why, even in the process of recovery of the money, we need transparency and accountability. There was no civil society participation in this recovery process, if you observed. At the organization I work for, we were part of the process of return of the Abacha loot. We monitor the use of the returned Abacha 2, Abacha 3. We are still monitoring the use of these resources. And so in the case of Ibori loot, there is no civil society participation. So that is why, this fear is being entertained. There is the need for transparency and accountability in the process of the recovery. This money should be returned to Delta because it is an injustice to the people of Delta. If federal government decide to spend this money elsewhere, the money should be returned to Delta State. The UN, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption is clear on that in their provisions of the UNCAC laws convention. The Global Forum on Asset Recovery also make very clear to which two of these instruments, the Nigerian government and the UK government, are signatory to all of this. And it is clear that any money that is recovered has to be returned to the victims of corruption. And in this case, in focus, it is the people of Delta, the poor people of Delta. The argument that, the Delta State government did not follow through with the legal process, does not hold water in this case. Because the victims of corruption are the poor people of Delta, not the government itself. And people should bear in mind that even when Ibori looted these resources, and when he handed over the government to the next person was his cousin, Chief Udwagan. Udwagan was the cousin of Ibori. Remains the cousin of Ibori. And you should understand what would have gone on. The characteristics of corruption must be understood in this context. And so the federal government knows very clearly what is at play there. The UK government knows what is at play there. And so they should not begin now to say that the money, because the people of Delta didn't come to say that the money is meant for them, that they will not return the money to Delta State. There are precedents in this country. The president in Bayelsa, the president in Plateau, the Joshua Dariye fund that was returned to the people of Plateau. It was returned to Plateau State. Why should that have...
Mr. Ataku, I apologize for interrupting you, but we may just have to leave it here. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on News Now.